excuse the loud noise. I am doing yoga and reading and having coffee on a picnic table at a gas station on the side of the road in Oregon somewhere. And I don't know why, but, well, no, I think maybe I do know why. I woke up this morning thinking about confined animal feeding operations and veganism and meat eating and, you know, that whole rigmarole. Is that a word? That mess. You know, people get really passionate and angry and enlivened over this issue of whether or not people should be eating meat. I really think that's the wrong argument. I mean, considering we are part of the food web, and we know that carnivores and omnivores are a thing, and humans are omnivores. Naturally, that's how we've evolved. So for me, it's not a question of should we eat meat, it's how should we go about eating meat, should we choose to. You know, that's how most things are. It's like, it's about the reason and the how and the consciousness behind the thing that you're doing or the tool that you're using. And the reason I'm thinking about this is because I drove by quite a few confined animal feeding operations on my road trip. I'm in Oregon now. And I saw a lot of situations where, you know, cows were just standing, big fields of cows standing around in their own excrement, and they had their heads sticking through these little slats so that they could eat food that's on the other side of the slat. You know, their neck is like in this, between these two poles, and they're eating the food that's on the other side of a concrete divider so that the food doesn't get mixed in with their shit. That's how much shit there is. They're just standing in it. And it is beyond me why people cannot just put themselves in the place of that animal. It's bizarro. The cognitive dissonance that has to occur for us to be friends with some animals, to have pets, to have a dog, to have a cat. Even we know that people have friendships with cows. Like, they're a lot like dogs. They're very playful, they're loving, they have feelings. Most animals do. I think probably all animals have some form of feelings, emotion. Even snakes, reptiles, they get a bad rap because, you know, they're all about instinct. But I've seen interactions with people with reptiles where it appears that this animal has no malice towards the human, that they don't see them as a threat, and so they don't act out against them. Like, animals have a certain level of intelligence, even if they might not have the same scope and breadth and depth of emotionality that we have. And isn't it weird that we have so much breadth and depth of emotionality and supposed intelligence, and yet we don't apply that to other creatures that we share this globe with, this planet? Do we not understand that everything is here for a reason? It's here because it's needed, it plays a role, it does a thing. Should we not appreciate that? It doesn't appear that we appreciate other creatures if the way that we treat them is with disrespect and callousness. It's a much different thing to go out and be a part of the web, the food chain, and hunt for your sustenance, you know. I realize there are people that raise animals in a kind and loving way. They treat the animals with respect and like part of the family, and then at a certain point they will quote unquote harvest that animal. Even that I find for myself personally a little bit unsettling, because can you imagine taking your brother or your sister out back one day and just offing them? You know, part of the family. So if I were to have a farm, and I grew up on a farm, and we did that. My dad did that. We had pigs, we had cattle, we had horses, and we slaughtered animals. And my dad also hunted. So I've seen the scope of all the different ways that you can interact with other life forms and participate in the food web, because my dad hunted. We also raised and slaughtered animals. We also bought meat from the grocery store that came from CAFOs. And based on that experience, for me, I don't have a problem eating meat that I know was harvested, hunted in a natural way. Personally, I only eat, as far as meat goes, wild caught fish, because I have a hard time in my heart taking the life of a sentient creature. Yeah, and fish, yes, that's a life form, but so am I. And I have found that for my body to feel most healthy and be most healthy, it works best when I have some sort of fish or some sort of animal protein, and fish works for me. So I'm all about interacting with life in a way where I do the least amount of harm as possible, and while also being able to take care of myself. And I don't believe that it is intrinsically harmful to participate in the food web. You're a part of it. There is a way to do it that is unnatural and unfair and unkind and disrespectful, and I think that should be the focus of the conversation, not whether or not we should eat meat. But I think also about what we're doing right now with the development of our technology, and how creatures who are supposedly, evidently, the most intelligent creature and species on this planet, humans, the apex predator, how we regard other animals that are less capable than us, how we treat them. Okay, this creature, this apex predator, is now creating a technology, AI, which is made in our likeness insofar as how it thinks. And we think that that's not going to backfire on us. If this thing is made in our image, this AI intelligence, this artificial intelligence, if it surpasses us in its capability to problem solve and decides to start doing its own thing, but it's made in our image, why would it not act towards us that is less than it intellectually in the way that we act towards other creatures that are less than us intellectually? Yeah, that's a problem, guys. Like, we know that these AI platforms, these apps, these computers, these robots, they require energy to run, just like us. They have to eat energy. They have to take in energy. What if they decide that we're a good energy source? Like we have decided that pigs and chickens and all these other animals are good energy sources, which they are, but there's a way to go about it, right? That's right, and there's a way to go about it that's really wrong. So what if they just start harvesting us and then farming us? Because that is the most energy efficient way to go about getting the energy it needs. Just grow us in pods. I mean, this is the Matrix, right? The robots, they have humans in pods, and you don't even know as a human that you are in a pod because you're living in a virtual world. Wow, maybe this was a documentary all along, the movie The Matrix. We're doing this, we're creating it. You know, So if we want our creation to be kind to us, take us into consideration, our feelings, have respect for our very life, perhaps we should start having respect for other life forms.